People have asked me what kind of communication system I use in my videos. So that's what I'm going to talk about in this video. This is what I basically started out with about 3 years ago, the RH5R. I used the other systems. I used the Sena. I had a Chatterbox. And I'll talk about those later on in the video, but we'll just talk about this setup that I've been running for the last 3 years, tell you what I like about it, what I don't like about it, how to program the radio. I'll try to go as in-depth as possible, so if you decide to go this route, you'll know what you're getting yourself into. This is what I start out with. It's the RH5R from Rugged Radios, and it comes with the radio and the helmet kit. So the Rugged Radios helmet kit is really good. I recommend this helmet kit highly. Now the radio itself, other than it's blue and it comes pre-programmed, I don't see a big difference from the generic version you can get off Amazon, which is the Baofeng UV5R. These two radios are identical. I have them both. I can't tell a difference other than this one's blue. So you can get this radio off Amazon for 25 bucks. That's super cheap. And you can buy, or you can get the third generation version of this, which is the F8HP, and it will broadcast at more watts, and it will it comes with a bigger battery. In fact, if you scroll down here, it tells you right here. And now I haven't verified this. I have this radio too, and I've used it and it works great, but I haven't used it on a 12-hour ride, so I can't really tell you that the battery actually lasts longer. So the UV5R 18 hours, which isn't true because we've gone through the battery in 6 hours. 6 hours it was dead, but then again, my radio's old. The battery's probably kind of weak now. But this one is supposed to last 24 hours if you just keep it at the 5 watts on the low power setting. So anyway, so you need the radio, and then you need to get a helmet kit. So if you buy just a helmet kit from Rugged Radios, they want $248, but this helmet kit is really strong. Mine is still working after 3 years, so I can highly recommend this helmet kit. You can buy a generic helmet kit off Amazon for $21, but this helmet kit, it sounds okay, the button works, but the wires are hair thin, and the connectors, they don't break away, they bend easy, the pins, it's terrible. If you get 10 uses out of this this helmet kit, I would be impressed. It's certainly, maybe for easy street riding it would hold up, but it's not going to hold up for dirt bike riding. Just not going to happen. I also want to mention that if you are considering buying this, you can buy the whole kit from Rocky Mountain ATV for $217, which is considerably cheaper than what Rugged Radio says on their website right now. This is February of 2019. They want $85 for just a radio, and then they want $333 for the kit. And as far as I can tell, this is the same kit for much less money, so I don't know why they're so expensive. And then just the helmet kit itself is $248. I mean, it is a good helmet kit, very strong, but they are very proud of it. If you buy this Rugged Radio setup, I want to warn you right from the start that you're not just going to buy it, throw it in your helmet, and it's going to work perfectly. It requires a lot of effort to get it to work. You have to route it in the helmet correctly. That takes a while. You got to find a nice place to put the mic that's not rubbing your lips or going to hit your teeth if you crash. Depending on your helmet, you have to route the plug so that it's not snagging on your neck when you turn your neck and driving you crazy. You need to find a place for the radio. You need to buy a pouch for the radio to mount in, because sticking it in your pocket isn't going to work. You're going to need to buy this radio bag and mount this to your gear somehow. I guess you could make one. So that's important. So let's talk about some of the other communication systems you have. Now, I've used I've used the Sena 20, and I'll tell you what I liked about it and didn't like about it. I thought the sound quality was great. The battery life was pretty amazing for how small it is. There was no wires coming down. But here's some of the problems we had, and this was 3 years ago, so maybe it's a lot better now. But if one of the people we were riding with, if their mic was in the non-optimal position, you would hear it would always be getting triggered by motorcycle noise. So the whole ride you're hearing ticking noises or the exhaust or the chain or something. And then it's Bluetooth, so there's zero line of sight. You go around a hill, you lose communication. You come back, and now you're trying to get it to pair back up. It did not want to pair back up automatically. It was always a pain in the ass. If you have 3 riders and you're trying to get all 3 to pair, and there was several times where we just said, you know, screw it, we can't get it to pair, and we just gave up and just kept riding. When it works, it's great, but a lot of frustration from this system. A lot of frustration. So with this system, when I meet up, I just push the button and it works. We haven't changed the channel from last time. So it's really nice. And there's no limit to how many people you want. You can have 10 people and they just push the button. And now you will talk over each other. So there is that. And also, if you crash and you don't have time to push the button, then no one's going to know. With the Sena, since it's voice activated, you'll hear somebody, you know, probably say, "Oh shit, I'm crashing." So there is that advantage. But I don't know. The regular radio is nice because, you know, you can sing in your helmet if you want to while no one's going to hear you. You just press the button when you want people to hear you. So I don't know. That's kind of nice. So to get the most out of your radio, you really do need to program it a little bit. You can do it in the radio. You can just set up 1 or 2 channels, and that's all you have to do. But it's easier if you use this software, and it's worth it because you'll have buddies, and you'll want their radios programmed. And once you create a nice list of channels, then you can just upload it to the radios, and it's just really convenient and easy. So the most important feature that we care about is this DTCS. So these radios, apparently you can set them up to talk to repeaters and do all that. Now, I don't do any of that. I just don't want to hear other riders when I'm riding. So, and we tried a bunch of channels, and it seemed like whatever channel we were on, we would hear other people. So the solution to that is to just use this code right here. So what this code does is it basically squelches everybody else, and only radios with this code, which it's a tone that you can't hear, then you'll hear them. So like this is one that came with I believe this was a rugged radio. This is what came on my rugged radio when I first downloaded it. I cloned it, and then I just added various channels. And if you come down here, these are the channels that I added. Nope, not here. Here they are, right here. Lowly 1 through 9, and these are the DTCS codes I put in. And so we just pick one of these channels, and we never hear another radio. It's wonderful. Doesn't mean that other people can't hear you. Okay, so I'm going to attempt to show you how to program your radios so you can get the most out of your radios. The first thing you have to do is you have to download the CHIRP software. This is the CHIRP software, or the home page of it. And they update it all the time. There's a wiki. There's tons of how-tos and guides. So check out this page. And so this is my rugged radio one right here. Now this one came pre-programmed. It had a bunch of channels on it. So what I did is I took this radio, I cloned it, but downloaded it. They still call it cloning. Downloaded it with the channels, and then I added additional channels. And so now, I have a file that has a bunch of additional channels, and I'm going to throw it on this new radio. Now this new radio has already been programmed, but we'll do it again just to show you. So what I'm going to do, and so as I was hunting around getting this information, I created a notepad, and it just instructions how to do it. And so and then just various information I threw on here, and here's a bunch of channels, frequencies that I got off various websites, and I just cut and pasted them all in here in case I wanted to program the radio. If you want the radio to work with Motorola's, or you want it to work with CB, these are all the channels for CB. So you can just program this in, and then this UV5R or the newer one will work on all these radios. So first thing you need is you need this this cable right here. It's USB on one end, and then it's this split plug for the radio. So we're going to plug it in to this radio. So this is the one we're going to program. So let's assume that we already downloaded this radio, like this is our master radio. We downloaded it, we have the file, we like our channels, we've built them up. Okay, so first thing we're going to do, load up the CHIRP software. And we got it right here. So now we're going to go File, Open, and I have a couple files on here. So let's say this is the file that I created, and so this is what's on this radio right now, this file. So what I'm going to do is look down here. This is the file I created. So a lot of these channels came with a rugged radio. Let's make it a little bigger. And some of these I added, like this is a couple CB channels, and then these are the channels I just made up and added these codes. This is the most important thing, is these codes. You can do it manually, but if you have buddies and you want to send, you all want to be able to talk together, it's a lot easier just to send them the file with some instructions, and then everybody can just program their radio the same, and then you just go to Lowly 1 through 9 and it works, and you don't hear anybody else. Again, it's not private. Everyone else can still hear you, but you don't hear other people. So works pretty good. Okay, so we got our file, and now what we're going to do is we're going to download this radio. So let's say this is a new radio. You want to download it, and you do want to download it because you want to make sure that you have the factory settings if you want to restore it. So clone it to a file and then save that file, and then if anything happens, you can always put that file back on your radio, and you should be at square one. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to radio, and we're going to go download from radio, and it says COM3. Now last time I did this radio was COM7. So see how it gives me 3 options here? Sometimes it only gives me 2 options. Now it's only saying COM8. So I don't know why this changes. It was COM9 earlier, but you just have to try it. I have a feeling it's going to be COM8 just because that's a number I haven't seen before, and you have to pick the right radio. This is an F8HP. If it was a UV5R, you'd pick that. So now we're going to hit OK, and it's going to say this radio driver is experimental. We're going to say yes, proceed. And now it's going to tell us what to do. Turn off the radio, connect the cable. Cable's already connected, radio's already off. And then we're going to turn the volume to 100%. And then they want to ensure the channel with no activity. So what I do is I take off the antenna, and that makes it less likely that you're going to get interference, right? So we're going to turn it on to 100%. It's 100%, and now we're going to hit OK, and it's working. It doesn't always work. It's very temperamental getting these radios to work. So we're pretty lucky that it worked. So we just wait for it to clone. Okay, so now what you see is it did this other file, or this other tab. And so these are basically, think of these as files. This is one file. This is the rugged radio one, and this is the new one, the F8HP file. Okay. So now this one, I already programmed it. So what I'm going to do, if I hadn't programmed it, it would probably look like this. I seem to remember that it was just blank. So let's say there's nothing programmed in it. It's completely blank. Now, what I cannot do is I cannot go from this is the UV5R, is I can't go radio, upload to radio. Oh, is it going to work? Yeah, see, it won't work because it says model UV5R, so don't do that. So hit cancel. So I need to upload this one, because if I go radio and I go upload to radio, see how this has the correct model? Okay, but I don't have this program. So what you have to do is you're going to come here and you're going to highlight all the channels. So I'm going to hold down Shift key, highlight them all. I'm going to hit Control C. Now I'm going to go over to this other radio. I'm going to go to the 0 and I'm going to hit Control V, and boom, I got it programmed in there. So now this is exact. So now what I'm going to do, I would save this for later, but I've already saved this, so I'm not going to save this. And then I'm going to do radio. I'm going to go upload to radio. It says COM8, nothing changed, and hopefully it works. Will it work? It's very temperamental. Let's see. We already left it on, so let's just hope it works. Proceed, yes. Oh, it's working. Okay, so we got lucky. If it doesn't work, all I can recommend is try changing the channel. Try the 3 different comms, or however many comms you have. I have a feeling every time you plug in the USB, it gives it a new comm, but that's just a hunch. So just keep trying different things until you get it to work. Start with the download, and then you can upload. Okay, so it's done. So we're gonna turn the radio off. We're gonna save these files. I've already saved them, so I'm not gonna save them. So I'm just gonna close this. We're not gonna save any changes. Okay, so now we're gonna put in the antenna. And I have a third one here too. So we'll just turn them all on at a low volume so we don't hear them. Okay, so they're all on the Lowly 9 channel. So if I key this one, they all light up. If I key this one, they all light up. If I key the middle one, they light up. So they're working, okay? So here's a tip on this radio. If we hit view, see how we change between the two? If you go to channel mode and you don't see the name, it's a setting in the radio. You just hit menu, and then you go 21, and this has to say name. And you also have to do menu 22, and that also has to say name. So one's the top, one's the bottom if you want to see the name. And then there's a ton of options in here. If you do the menu, you can see them all, squelches, all these codes. It's crazy, all the stuff you can do in here, okay? The last thing is you can lock the radio. And that way you're less likely to change channels while you're riding and stuff like that. A couple other things about this radio that I want to mention is the Roger beep. So this radio has the Roger beep off, which I like better. Now this radio has the Roger beep on. I don't like it, but I don't like hitting the button and not hearing what people say, because I don't realize that my push to talk button got disconnected. So having the Roger beep is the lesser of two evils. I wish there was a setting where you could make the Roger beep quiet, like you could adjust the intensity of the Roger beep, but I don't believe that's an option. So a couple other things to note about these radios, downsides is if you hit this top button accidentally, it does FM radio and you just get static, which is very annoying when you're riding. If you're riding and that happens, just turn the radio on and back off, because you'll have this in a little pouch, probably in your chest protector or something. So that's the easiest way to go back. And if you accidentally hit this bottom button, it turns on this flashlight, and that's just kills your battery. So that's annoying. And there's no way to turn these two buttons off that I know of. What I did do on one of the radios is I took it apart, and there's a little stem that pushes a little pad on the circuit board, and I chopped the stem off. So in order to push this button, you really have to use your fingernail and push it really hard. I don't know which radio I did it on. Was it this one? Yeah, this is the radio right here that I modified. So I took it apart and I made it very difficult to push this button. Now I can push it if I really get in there. There. So, but you're never going to accidentally push it. And I did the same for the flashlight button. So you can take the radio apart, chop the stem off, so you really have to push it with your fingernail. It's really difficult. There it is. And so that's a pretty good fix, I would say. Taking these radios apart isn't that difficult. I haven't tried taking this one apart, the new one. I don't know how difficult that would be. So I think that's it. Hopefully this helps you get the most out of your radios if you're using these for helmet-to-helmet communication. I think there's a lot of positives with this system, and there is some negatives, as you'll see. So hope this helps. Talk at you later. So I want to see if I can take it apart and disable these two buttons because they're just super annoying. Okay, remember that goes. Okay. Okay. So I got a little nice pair of side cutters right here. So here we go. We're gonna cut it off. There it is. Okay. So we cut off that much of it. Not much. And we're going to do it for this one too. I hate these buttons. There we go. I have a feeling you'll still be able to activate it. Let's see, I'm going to cut off about that much. And cut off quite a bit. Okay. I'm going to put it back together. Come on! Just by kind of prying, I was able to get it, but... Come on, my little buddy. Oh, that's perfect. Alright, so that seems like a pretty good mod because I have to push really far. I can do it, but I'm not accidentally going to do it now. So I've really desensitized those two buttons. So I just got lucky. I think I cut off just the right amount. Alright, that looks really good. Let's see if the battery wants to go in. Yeah, clicked in nicely. See if the antenna wants to screw on.
Panel mode.
Perfect. So, seems like it's working.
Panel mode.
That works. It's locked so that these buttons don't do anything. And this button, I can hit it, but it's really hard. So that's pretty much perfect. So I can do it with my fingernail, but I'm not ever going to accidentally do that. And the same with this one. But now the light's on. So I think that's an excellent modification. Taking this radio apart is kind of a pain in the ass, but I don't know. I think I've been here 20 minutes total, so 15-20 minute job. Yeah, all the buttons work. Perfect. Doesn't lock it, you just hold this one and it locks. So, yeah, I'd say that was a success. So just cut off those little nubs and you won't ever hit this annoying ass button again. Hopefully. Talk to you later.